What is it that fascinates us in Britney Spears shaving her head, O.J. Simpson going down as one of the most loved men in the US, or an elevator fight between Solange and Jay-Z? What do we like in these celebrities? More in particular, why do we like it when these celebrities fuck up professionally or personally, or preferably both? Simone Driessen is a researcher in the field of popular culture and fandom, and among others did extensive participatory research among lifelong Backstreet Boy fans, but for now she will talk about fallen celebrities and why we adore them. Simone Driessen.
Thank you. I want to talk today about unruly celebrities, basically people who don't stick to the rules, who have failed, who are the target point of scandals, basically everything you know from the gossip magazines. And yes, that can be academic, but let Tonya Harding herself introduce that to you.
America, they want someone to love, but they want someone to hate. I mean, come on! What kind of friggin' person bashes in their friend's knee? Who would do that to a friend?
Tonya Harding did that to a friend. So I think that sets the tone basically today for what I want to talk to you about, namely those people who Tonya also says people want somebody to love and to hate. Well, that's often the case with many of the celebrities that we encounter in our daily lives. Maybe you don't know this person, but this is Judy Garland. And Judy Garland featured in a song that in which she sings, "I don't care." But Judy Garland has been a target point of many, many gossip articles. And to give you an introduction of her, maybe you better know her actually as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. I hope that does ring some bells. The girl who sang Over the Rainbow. Now, why am I taking you back to talk about scandalous celebrities to that era of classic Hollywood? Well, classic Hollywood had a very nice system, namely the star system. And that star system, that means that the studios in Hollywood constructed these stars' images. They controlled what these stars did. Judy Garland, for example, was innocent, young, and sexy, but not sexual. As in, if she had a relationship, then that was fodder for the gossip magazines, but not something to actually talk about. Basically, the person she portrayed in the movies was also the person she had to be in her real life, as a private person. Well, obviously, that wasn't the case. Judy Garland became drug addicted, for example, to sleeping pills. Judy Garland had a lover who was 12 years her age. Judy Garland committed an abortion because a young pregnant star that wouldn't do well in the movies at that time. So there's lots of scandals that she actually was involved in. And eventually this led to her death because, addicted to sleeping pills, she took an overdose at the age of 47. Now, this classic narrative might sound familiar to you. If we look at our current day stars, then I hope that you recognize her without, well, somewhat makeup. Lindsay Lohan, for example. But also think about the Home Alone star. You all remember Kevin. I think you saw his movies around Christmas again this year. But Macaulay Culkin also often has been the target point of gossip. And Judy Garland struggled with her weight, but hey, Leonardo DiCaprio did as well. If you remember, the dad bod came into fashion, I think, because of Leonardo. So now guys with a little belly are totally acceptable because of the stars that we're looking at. But besides the 5 marriages of Judy Garland, marriages and divorce is still something that fascinates us with these celebs as well, right? I mean, I think we all know that awful divorce between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie that shocked the world. And I think that each week you can pick up a magazine and then some other celebrity couple might actually get a divorce. Most likely they won't, but if they wouldn't, we won't read about it. But why is this so fascinating to us? Well, in the first place, this shows us and says something about that these stars aren't the images that we see in these movies. They aren't the perfect role models they pretend to be or they have to be on screen. They are also humans, like you and I sitting here. They're also maybe perhaps bad at relationships, to put it mildly. Maybe they also have a little weight problem going on. Maybe they find it difficult to continuously diet. It shows that they're human and we can learn from them. If not looking up to them, at least knowing what not to do with our lives or how not to go through a divorce. Apparently you shouldn't smoke going through a divorce. That's what the article also says here. Another star that I want to talk to you today about is perhaps the most famed, scandalous, or perhaps even more of a misfit role model. At least that's what he turned into. When Tom Cruise started out, he wasn't that bad at all. Well, maybe you would consider him not bad today, totally your own opinion, but do realize that when he started in the 1980s, he was a teenage heartthrob. He was cool, he was young, he was representing everything that American freedom entails, right? Always with his Ray-Bans on, always looking slick. Basically, he was the guy girls dreamed of. But Tom Cruise, like one of the last Mission Impossible movies, then also went rogue. And this moment we can actually pinpoint very specifically. Before 2005, we don't know a whole lot about Tom Cruise's private life. What we do know is that he was married 2 times. We know that he was divorced as well. We know that he was a member of the Church of Scientology, but we didn't hear a lot about it. But in 2005, he was a guest at the Oprah Winfrey Show, and he was invited to talk about his new movie, The War of the Worlds. But what he did was go completely nuts about his love for a new young actress, Katie Holmes. Tomcat became a thing. Tom Cruise, seriously, if you watch the interview, he's jumping up and down for a few minutes. And this is the point where things literally go rogue for him. It's the moment where he also allegedly has fired his PR person, Pat Kingsley, and after that he sort of became the mouthpiece of Scientology. But that Scientology fascinates us anyway with Tom Cruise. And I'm not proclaiming to be an expert, but I'm just reading the gossip magazines and learning about Tom Cruise. He apparently has chosen Scientology over his daughter that he got during the marriage to Katie Holmes. That divorce was also not to blame on Scientology, not at all. He just didn't love her anymore. But later on, when they were looking for a new partner, apparently the church had a hand in that too. There have literally been auditions to become Tom Cruise's next partner. So the rumor goes. I have to add it. But obviously, Tom Cruise might laugh it all away. That's for you to decide. Again, his role in Scientology became bigger, or at least that's what we tend to believe, because we see him talking more and more about it. And this is where we actually start to find Tom Cruise a little weird. It's not just that he is weird, but I think that even the celebrities talk about him, so that he would be gossip fodder for the actual celebs that are out there. But hey, again, what can we learn from this? This guy who once was this youthful, heroic actor, still is actually, in most of the movies, I believe. But he did something, right? And we still consider him to be this outcast, even in this field of already weird or having weird habit celebrities. What this teaches us, or why we are so fascinated by it, is that it actually says something about the values that we have as a group, as a society. We all find him weird. So that means that we have a certain standard of what we would consider moral and normal. And that also says something about looking at these flawed celebrities. Through these scandals, we actually set our own boundaries of what we perceive to be perhaps good or bad. And it also takes away our insecurities. I mean, we're not like him, like the guy behind me. We're not like that. So that makes us normal? Maybe it does. But it says something about the society that we live in. And it's sort of a reassurance. So this feeling of gossip, this feeling of looking into these celebrities' life, actually gives us a great deal of feeling okay. And that's why we like it. But there's always hope, even for guys like Tom Cruise. Because who would have thought years ago that Conan the Barbarian, the Terminator, RoboCop, however you want to call him, would be back as the governor of California. He no longer is the governor of California, but I want to show you this case to illustrate that even though perhaps as a celebrity you might be a little weird and you think that your career has come to an end or has had certain perspectives that no longer have a very positive outlook, there's always hope. Just look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. And do these celebrities themselves care? Well, maybe not, but I do hope that we care, because again, we learned from this as a society. It teaches us something about ourselves, but also about the world that we live in and our society at large. Thank you.